Alright guys, continuing on with this baseball set binder. I showed the 1993 SP set previously. Now the second half of this binder is the 1995 Bowman's Best set. Hugely popular set in the 90s. It had a lot of rookie cards of some of the best young players in the game at that time. But I bought this complete set years later when it wasn't quite as popular. And I just had it in a box for years, which I didn't like because you can't really enjoy a set when it's locked away in a box somewhere. So thanks again to Pepino Man for sending me this binder and the pages as well, because now I can have these cards in here and flip through them and truly enjoy them. So let's get started. And as I said, there was a period of time where people kind of forgot about this set, and it appears there's like more interest in it now, because with guys like Vladimir Guerrero getting into the Hall of Fame, and I think overall people are realizing that there's some pretty good players in here, some pretty good rookie cards. You see a Bobby Abreu rookie card, really underrated player. Andrew Jones, really great offensive and defensive player. And here you see Derek Jeter. That's not his rookie card, but here you see this part right here. These all have the kind of this bluish part right there. The first part of the set is rookies and prospects, and then later on you'll see this part will be red for the veterans in the set. But let's move on to the next page. You see another rookie card that was pretty popular back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Richie Sexson had some big power years with the Milwaukee Brewers. Here you see this card has some kind of messed up coloring right there. Some of these old Bowman's Best and Finest cards have that issue. Not sure why that happens, but if I could replace the ones that look like that at some point, I will, because it is kind of annoying. Here you see Shannon Stewart, who was a solid all-around player for a few years. Todd Green was a big prospect, but never really amounted to much. The thing I most remember about him was he caught the first pitch from George Bush in the 2001 World Series when he was with the Yankees. Let's see who we have here. Tony Clark. I believe that's his second year card. Really solid player. I think he's the president of the Players Association now. But yeah, he was a switch hitter, had some pretty good power. Jermaine Dye, another really solid player for many years. Ben Grieve, I thought he was going to be a superstar. Former Rookie of the Year. Had a really sweet left-handed swing, but after that Rookie of the Year award, never really quite continued to put up those numbers. Here you see Paul Konerko. That's his second year card. And again, even though some of these aren't technically rookies, at some point they were still pretty popular, because, for example, Nomar Garciaparra, I think that's his first year pictured in a Red Sox uniform on a card, because on his 92 rookie card he was pictured in an Olympic uniform. So like I said, overall a lot of these prospects were really popular for a while. Ray Ordonez, that's his rookie card. He was a really solid defensive player, just couldn't hit at all. If he could have hit around 275, 280, he would have had a much longer career. Jason Schmidt, really good pitcher for the Pirates and San Francisco Giants. Billy Wagner, that's his second year card. Shout out to Den1013, big Billy Wagner fan. Here we have Scott Ellerton. I think he had like one really good year. I remember buying that rookie card back like in the late 90s, early 2000s. Jason Isringhausen, he was part of Generation K with the Mets. That was supposed to be the rotation of the future, but didn't quite work out. Trot Nixon, really solid player for the Red Sox. Used to own Roger Clemens when Clemens was with the Yankees. Ruben Rivera, most known for stealing Derek Jeter's glove and trying to sell it. Todd Hollandsworth, I believe he's another former Rookie of the Year that didn't quite pan out after that. And Johnny Damon, you saw his rookie card in the previous video, the 93 SP set. So some more prospects here. Garrett Anderson, really solid hitter. One of my favorite hitters of the late 90s and 2000s. Was kind of underrated because he wasn't like a big power guy, but could hit around 15 to 20 home runs, consistently above 300. Another guy that absolutely killed the Yankees. Andy Pettit, I think that's like his second or third year card. Juan Encarnacion was a pretty good power prospect with the Tigers. I remember he hit one of the longest home runs I've ever seen at the old Yankee Stadium. Troy Percival in his younger days with the Angels, really good closer. Roger Cedeno, former Met. See who we got here. That's Alan Benes, brother of Andy Benes, who I think Andy was a little bit better. Kareem Garcia, former Yankee. Got into it with Pedro Martinez a few times. But he was a solid player. He's what I call a gamer. Like, didn't have a world of talent, but just always showed up to play. Would give you a good at-bat, play the outfield. Jeff Sapan, who was a good prospect with the Red Sox, but didn't quite put it together until he was with the Pirates. Then with St. Louis, helped them win a championship. Here's another member of Generation K with the Mets, Bill Pulsipher. Jay Payton, that's his rookie. Really solid player for the Mets. Thought he'd have a much longer career than he did. Here we have Huguet Urbina, really solid closer. Pitched for the 03 Marlins that beat the Yankees in the World Series. Armando Benitez, former Oriole and Met. I remember him for drilling Tito Martinez in the back, started a big brawl. Darryl Strawberry went after him and chased him all the way into the Orioles dugout and tackled him in there. That's one of the best baseball fights I've ever seen. Matt Drews, I'm sure not many people remember him, but he was actually one of the main prospects the Yankees traded to the Tigers for Cecil Fielder. Turned out to be a great trade for the Yankees because Matt Drews didn't really do anything, and Cecil Fielder helped them win a championship. And we have, crazily enough, Bartolo Colon, who's still pitching. Pretty sure he's the only guy in this entire set that's still playing. Flirted with a no-hitter the other day, and that's his official rookie card, so nice one to have there. And Chris Carpenter, another really good pitcher. Didn't quite put it together till he went to St. Louis, but had some really strong seasons there. James Baldwin, I think he had like one all-star season. And I thought we'd be getting to the vets by now, but a lot of prospects in this set. There you got Scott Rowland, that's his rookie card. Really solid career, not a lot of people mention him, but played for about 4 or 5 different teams. Solid defensively, and his offensive numbers aren't too bad either. Decent home run hitter. Then you got Michael Tucker, who I mentioned before was a solid outfielder. Jacob Cruz, I remember having a signed baseball of him, but never turned into anything. And here we get to the veterans in the set. So I'll take a quick water break and we'll continue on. Alright, so moving along, you got a lot of the stars from that era. That's part of what I like about putting together these 90s sets. You get to see a lot of my favorite players from that era. You got Randy Johnson, Sheffield. Who's that? Moises Alou. You got Sierra. You got Ripken, Bobby Bonilla, Manny, Bonds. Just loaded with star players. Bagwell, Molitor, Maddox. Great set to really remember a lot of the great stars of that era. Barry Larkin, Boggs, Puckett, Bichette, Clemens, Clark, Mark Grace, Lofton, Gwynn. Just more big names here. You see Cecil, Canseco, Juan, David Cohn, Biggio, Salmon, Justice, Sosa, Piazza. Really, none of these guys could be considered like scrubs. All of them had really good careers. Baerga, Puerto Rican. We got there Jeff Conine, who was really the main Marlin for a few years. You got Palmero. You got Movan again, still looking kind of trim. You got Wally Joyner, who was kind of a so-so hitter. Knobloch. Nice Donnie baseball there. Griffey with that classic swing. Albert Bell, big time power hitter. Brian Jordan, really underrated player during that era. You got Eckersley still hanging around. He hung around even longer than that, had a few years with St. Louis. Greg Vaughn, McGriff, Alomar, Mofo Murray, Lee Smith, Kenny Rogers, Ron Gant, and Larry Walker. Overall, I really like the design of the cards too. I like how the team logo is behind the players there. Also like the color scheme, the fact that they kept the prospects blue and changed the color for the veterans. You got the Big Hurt there, Paul O'Neill, Big Mac, Galarraga. Marty Cordova, former Rookie of the Year. Again, some people have said the Rookie of the Year is kind of cursed because a lot of those guys, after they win the Rookie of the Year, didn't really do much. Sean Green. You got Gardo Alfonso, that's his second year card. One of my favorite Mets, really solid hitter. Let's see who we got here. Alright, some of these guys were kind of like bench players towards most of their career. You got Nomo. I believe that's his second year card. He's really the main player on this page. And here we get to the last part of the set, which is the mirror image cards. Alright, so decided to change the angle for these so you guys can see them this way. But yeah, these mirror image cards was pretty much like one good current player, one good up-and-coming player. Obviously, some of them didn't pan out. That still happens these days with a lot of these prospect cards. For example, there you got Ben Davis and Ivan Rodriguez. Obviously, Ben Davis didn't quite live up to the Ivan Rodriguez type career, but I think he was in the big leagues for a few years. That's definitely one of my favorites, Beltran and Juan Gonzalez. There you got Mo Vaughn and can't even read the name on that one, Corey Jenkins. Ruben Rivera and Frank Thomas. Yeah, obviously Ruben didn't live up to that hype. You got Manny, and I think you got a pitcher there with him, which is kind of weird, Mark Redman. You got Biggio, Tony McKnight. And just a few more. They should have made a few more of these, I think. You got Bagwell and Pat Watkins. So something you can kind of tell is for these, mostly the veteran players had great careers, and a lot of these prospects aren't really remembered. Well, this is a good one. Wagner and Randy Johnson, even though Wagner went on to be a reliever. You got Kareem Garcia, Matt Williams. Some of these comparisons are kind of weird because, for example, he's a left-handed hitter. He's a right-handed power hitter, so not sure why you'd compare those two players. But I guess they just chose random people because here you have Griffey, left-handed swinging outfielder. Then you got a right-handed hitting catcher in Todd Green. So I guess they didn't put all that much thought into it. They just paired whoever they wanted to pair together. There you got Tony Gwynn and Brian Hunter. Another kind of weird pairing there. But yeah, that is it. That is going to be the end of this set. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think. I'll continue to show more sets as I put them into binders. And I'll check you guys out next time.